Welcome back to Perkins Pipes. You may be saying, Steve, that outfit doesn't really coordinate. Oh, yes, it does. See, my son's name is Austin, so I got this hat years ago because, well, kind of cool. My son's name is Austin. Austin hat. My daughter, before she went off to college for a number of years, she was into 4-H. And in particular, she was into rabbits, especially Holland lop rabbits, the kind with the loppy ears like this. So this was the 4-H shirt one year for her 4-H club. Got my son's hat. Got my daughter's 4-H shirt. Got my dad's Kaywoodie, which you've seen many times before, the 69 large pot. And curiously, a big pile of rocks. What do those all have to do with each other? You're about to find out. Friends, let's get this guy lit. Let's get to talking. All of this has to do with fathers and their children. Back in the 80s, there was a movie with Billy Crystal and Danny DeVito called Throw Mama from the Train. Dark comedy, to be sure. And it has one of the most touching scenes that I've ever seen. Billy Crystal has gone over to Danny DeVito's house. He lives with his mother. Danny DeVito's father has passed away. And it's very, very clear that his mother is this dominant, domineering kind of woman. Very nasty character. And ultimately, Danny DeVito wants to, you guessed it, throw mama from the train, and he wants Billy Crystal to help him. That's not the point that we want to talk about here. While Billy Crystal is at Danny DeVito's house, Danny DeVito wants to show him his coin collection. Now, even though he's an adult man, he really, you can clearly tell that he is emotionally stuck at a much, much earlier age. He starts bringing out his coin collection. He's got dimes and nickels and quarters and pennies. And Billy Crystal looks at him and he says, Owen, which is Danny DeVito's character's name, he says, Owen, coins have to be special in order for them to be a meaningful coin collection. These are just ordinary dimes, nickels, pennies, and quarters, you know. And that's when Danny DeVito says, oh, they're very special. And each one of them was a coin that he connected with his father. This was a coin we got in change when we went to see, I'll say the Yankees play baseball. This is a coin that we got, when we went to go get some popcorn and got it back in change. And suddenly you realize that this coin collection is indeed very special. Friends, I'm going to show you a collection of my gemstones. And I probably shouldn't do this on YouTube because, hey, maybe someone's going to want to come and rob me. But friends, these are my gemstones. I'm going to tilt the camera a little bit here so you can see them more fully. This large bowl of rocks. Friends, these are rocks my children gave me over the years. And you can see There are large rocks and small rocks, gray rocks and black and red and golden colored rocks, smooth rocks and rough rocks, rocks with scratches and rocks with holes. Friends, these are my jewels. It's my jewel collection. These are my gemstones. You say, well, Steve, those are not very special rocks. Rocks need to be of real value to have meaning. Surely there are no rubies or diamonds or emeralds in that pile of rocks. Get what I want. There we go. Kind of move off to the side a little bit. There we go. Friends, these mean everything to me. They're rocks found around our property when our children were little. Rocks found at a beach, rocks found in a forest, rocks found in a parking lot, who knows where. But when our children were little and they found a rock that they thought was neat, they wanted to give it to Daddy. Now, I don't collect minerals and I'm not a rock hound. Somewhere along the way, I'm sure it started with our son, he's our firstborn, and our daughter picked it up as well. Somewhere along the way, they got the idea that Daddy would like rocks. And I got to tell you, I love my rocks. There's so much to talk about here, actually. More than you might realize. I think about Jesus when he said to Peter, he says, I'm going to call you Peter. And he says, because on this rock I will build my church, and the gates of hell will not prevail against it. Peter being the Greek word for rock. We think about characters like Rocky Balboa, great boxer. There is something about men and being rocky. Not hard in the sense of hard-hearted. Strong. Good foundation for a family. I don't think my children know, but I don't consider myself a worthy enough rock for our family. Then again, I think anyone who does might be bordering on a bit of arrogance. But I'm sure glad they thought of me that way when they were little. I'm glad when they saw rocks, they thought of Daddy. Now, I know for some of you, you may not have had a great relationship with your father. I'm sorry. I truly am sorry. Because I think the relationship with the Father is one of the many, many blessings in this life. My dad knew his dad. His dad didn't pass away until my dad was an adult man. My mother, on the other hand, her dad died when she was 6 years old. Some people don't know their fathers. Some people do and wish they didn't. And some of you out there have wonderful relationships with your fathers, or you did when they were still living. I'm blessed to have a wonderful relationship with our now adult children. I can tell you that this bowl of rocks sits on my desk inside our house. It's one of my most treasured possessions. because of what my children thought of me, and that every time they saw some special rock somewhere, they wanted to get it for Daddy. And I will tell you, just recently my wife was cleaning the house. Excuse me here. I had to change my screen went to screensaver, and I had to change that there. She was cleaning, and she says, "You got to clean this bowl of rocks." And that's why I had them outside just now. Put them in a pot, hosed them down. And as carefully as I could, I made sure every single one. Friends, we got some large rocks here. This is by far not the largest. The really big ones are at the bottom. But I don't know if you can even see this. Look at that little guy. That's just a pebble. But I made sure every single one got back in the bowl. Because of what my children mean to me. And because of what the things that they have done and given mean to me. And I would be remiss in saying, if I didn't say, that there is a Heavenly Father who loves you as much, scratch that, far more than I love my children. Which is hard for me to imagine, because I don't love anything more than I love my children. Not my beloved Latin. Not my rock and roll. Sorry, friends, not even my pipes. And our Father in heaven loves us more than we've ever loved anything in our lives. If you know that, if you have that experience with God, boy, I tell you what I'm talking about. And if you don't, talk with somebody. Talk with somebody and say, shoot straight with me. What is this love of God all about that everybody's talking about? You're always welcome to shoot me an email. perkinspipes@gmail.com. I'll chat with you if you like. Sometimes it's hard to believe in God's love, especially if you've had a difficult relationship or a non-existent relationship with your earthly father. Well, I get that. But what I can tell you is it's real. He does love you. And me, and my children. And indeed, everyone. Friends, I want to ask you a question. If you have children, what are some of the special things they've given you? Things that have meant the world to you that wouldn't mean a dime to anybody else. Anybody else would look at it and go, what is this? And you're looking at it and saying, oh, that's my treasure. That's my jewel. That's my gemstone. What are some of those things? I'd love to hear your stories. The stories of your rocks. Folks, as Malcolm Guite likes to say, I do these little things in order at last to do nothing. Or as I say in Latin, Parva ut tandem, nihil agam. Have a wonderful day.
There was a man